The drama begins with a crazy fisherman who is catching fish. After catching one, he tortures the fish while laughing maniacally. Suddenly, he hears an alarm blaring. When he looks around, he notices a massive shark appearing beneath his boat. At that moment, he feels as though he is about to die. But unexpectedly, everything returns to normal as if nothing happened. The shark disappears and he sees a mysterious blue tree, which he happily collects. Next, the scene shifts to the beach where we see people relaxing. Among them is a man named Yang, who is riding the waves. When he comes out of the water, 3 women are waiting for him, offering him water. It's clear they find him attractive because he's a handsome guy, but Yang shows no interest in them and walks away. Then we see a group of girls playing handball. The match is intense and a large crowd is watching. One of the players named Emmy is in possession of the ball during the final moments of the game. However, she becomes distracted when she sees an old man, which causes her to throw the ball incorrectly, leading her team to lose the game. The coach scolds her, telling her to focus because the championship is near. As punishment, he makes her clean the swimming pool. Later, Emmy talks to the old man who turns out to be her grandfather. She urges him to go home, but it's revealed that he suffers from Alzheimer's and doesn't remember anything. Emmy and her friend, Uni, then head to the changing room to switch out of their uniforms. Emmy tries to scare her friend by telling her that a girl once drowned in the swimming pool and her spirit still haunts the water, killing anyone who swims there. Uni gets frightened and Emmy laughs as she leaves the room. When Uni tries to follow her, she can't find Emmy. Uni, now terrified, calls out to her, but Emmy suddenly emerges from the pool and grabs Uni by the leg. Uni falls to the ground screaming while Emmy laughs, revealing that it was all a prank to scare her timid friend. However, things take a darker turn when Uni notices something swimming behind Emmy. Panicking, Uni runs away, but Emmy follows her, assuring her there's nothing in the water. Uni insists she saw someone, so Emmy drags her back to the pool to prove it's empty. When they get there, they find wet footprints leading away from the pool. Following the footprints, they end up in a storage room filled with old equipment. When they shine their phone light, they catch a glimpse of something moving quickly in front of them. Shocked, they fall to the ground and instinctively reach out to grab each other's hands. But to their horror, they realize they are holding the hand of a creature with the lower half of a fish and the upper half of a human. Overwhelmed with fear, they faint. When they wake up, the sun is rising, and there's no sign of the creature. They recall they have a handball match and rush to the beach only to find the game ending without them. Their coach is furious and throws their gear in anger, destroying everything. Later, Emmy remembers the events of the previous night and returns to the storage room to confirm what she saw. However, she finds nothing there. Instead, she notices a sign that reads, "Do not enter." Ignoring the warning, she and Uni enter the restricted area where they find the girl they saw last night. This time, she has human legs, but is naked. They quickly cover her with a cloth and take her to their house. They leave her in the bathroom to clean up, but notice that her lower half transforms back into a fishtail whenever she touches water. It becomes clear that she is a mermaid. They ask her if she can speak, and she replies that she understands every language. They bring her into the living room to talk and learn that her body transforms into a normal human form when dry, but reverts to a mermaid when wet. Emmy then asks the mermaid, "What were you doing out there?" The mermaid replies, "The life of the sea is harsh. That's why I wanted to leave and come to the surface. I stole my grandfather's shark to bring me to the shore, but by mistake, a ship collided with part of my tail. I lost that part, and without it, I can't return to my family, and they won't be able to find me." Meanwhile, we see the crazy fisherman holding the piece of the mermaid's tail. He's thrilled because he finally has proof that mermaids exist. Suddenly, there's a knock at his door. He abandons his search for the mermaid and goes to answer it. It turns out to be a delivery man. After taking the package and closing the door, he returns to find the blue tree missing. Panicking, he starts searching for it and hears the meow of a cat. When he looks, he sees the cat holding the tree in its mouth. As he approaches the cat, it jumps out the window and the fisherman chases after it, but loses track of it. The cat eventually enters Yong's house. Yong, puzzled, takes the tree from the cat and feels a strange sensation. At that same time, the mermaid is with Emmy and her friends. She tells them, "I have the power to restore people's memories." Emmy then takes her to her grandfather. The mermaid speaks to him briefly and his memories return. He recognizes Emmy, who is overwhelmed with joy. She hugs her grandfather tightly, hardly believing what just happened. However, the mermaid notices that her powers have weakened since the blue tree went missing. Emmy decides to help the mermaid find the missing tree so that her grandfather's recovery can last. The mermaid is thrilled and says, "This is the first time I've ever had a human friend." The next day, Emmy and the mermaid go to school together. Emmy warns her, "Be careful not to tell anyone what you are and stay away from water." The mermaid promises and in her excitement tries to jump over the school wall, but Emmy pulls her back and they enter through the gate. Once inside, the mermaid is delighted by everything she sees. Later in the school's field match, a ball flies toward the mermaid. She instinctively kicks it with great force, sending it far away. The boys nearby are amazed by her strength. Emmy leads the mermaid to their classroom where she begins to exhibit odd behaviors like playing with pencils and taking selfies. At one point, she accidentally smudges ink on the face of a girl named Jean. Jean, furious, approaches the mermaid and demands she clean her face. The mermaid wipes Jin's face with her wet hand, unknowingly removing her makeup. Jean storms out of the classroom in anger. Later, the mermaid and her friends head home laughing about the day's events. Suddenly, the mermaid senses that the missing blue tree is nearby. They all rush out to search for it. As they search, the mermaid hears a voice calling for help. Following the voice, she finds a turtle that's lost its way. Emmy and her friends are shocked to see that the mermaid can talk to animals. The mermaid explains that the turtle is far from its home and leads it back to where it belongs. Young appears and is thrilled to find his missing turtle. He thanks the mermaid and invites everyone inside. Emmy and her friends are excited to spend time with Yang because he's a famous athlete and very handsome. Meanwhile, the mermaid explores Yang's house and talks to the fish in his aquarium. From them, she learns that the missing blue tree is in the house, but is no longer glowing as its power seems to have faded. When the mermaid sees the tree, she's shocked that it no longer shines with its usual brilliance. Yang, unaware of its significance, thanks her again for returning his turtle. As soon as the mermaid sits on the couch, a cat jumps up. When she sees the cat, she starts screaming in fear and leaps away because cats eat fish. Yang catches her and looks at her closely, realizing he likes her. Similarly, she starts feeling an affection for him. Emmy and her friends are surprised by what just happened. They all leave the house together, but Jean and her group notice them leaving Yang's house and feel jealous. Back home, the mermaid talks about Yang all day and expresses a desire to return to him. Emmy is surprised and asks why. The mermaid explains that the missing part of her tail is with Yang. "When I hugged him, I could sense it," she says. They begin thinking about how to retrieve it. Later, while watching the movie Titanic, the mermaid sees a scene where the lead actor kisses the actress. She exclaims, "I have to kiss Yang to restore the missing part of me." Emmy and her friends are shocked and angry, questioning her boldness. Despite their reluctance, Emmy and her friends try to help the mermaid get closer to Yang, but they failed due to Jean and her group. Disappointed, they return home. That night, the mermaid spends hours drawing pictures of Yang until she falls asleep from exhaustion. The next morning, Emmy and her friends wake up and find the mermaid's drawings. They admire her talent. Later, they go to school and attend a marine biology class. The teacher turns out to be the crazy fisherman and all the students are scared of him because of his strange behavior. However, the mermaid understands his lectures and spends the entire day asking him questions, showcasing her deep knowledge of marine life. The teacher becomes annoyed because she keeps correcting him. Frustrated, he asks her to assist him with dissecting a fish. The mermaid is horrified and hears the fish begging her to save it. She runs to stop the dissection and declares, "Fish are friends of humans. They shouldn't be harmed." A fight ensues between her and the teacher. Emmy and her friends rush in to help. Yang, witnessing the chaos, angrily picks up the fish and grabs the mermaid's hand. Together, they leave the classroom, leaving the other students shocked at Yang's actions. The mermaid rides on Yang's motorcycle, looking thrilled. They arrive at the sea, where she releases the fish, telling it, "You are safe now. You can return home." She thanks Yang for what he did. Yang replies, "I love fish too, but more importantly, I like you because you're special." He takes her back home. Before he leaves, the mermaid gives him a drawing she made and says, "Look at it when you get home." Later, Emmy and her friends return home to find the mermaid lounging in the pool. She tells them about her day with Yang and how she hugged him while on the motorcycle. Suddenly, they hear Emmy's grandfather approaching. Afraid he might see the mermaid's fish tail, she quickly dives underwater to hide. Meanwhile, Yang opens the drawing at his home and is delighted by it. At the same time, the crazy fisherman opens his laptop grinning sinisterly, clearly plotting something evil. The next day, the group decides to go on a trip. Riding their motorcycles, they arrive at the beach and set up tents for a barbecue party. The mermaid notices Yang walking along the shore with Jean and becomes jealous. Later that night, Yang brings the mermaid to the sea and gives her a necklace as a gift. The mermaid thanks him and speaks in the language of fish, saying, "I love you." Yang doesn't understand her words, but notices her unusual tone. She falls asleep beside him that night. The next morning when the mermaid wakes up, she looks for Yang. At that moment, Yang is underwater, but his oxygen tank runs out, causing him to lose consciousness. Unexpectedly, the mermaid appears and gives him oxygen through a kiss, saving his life. Once she realizes he is regaining consciousness, she quickly returns to the sea, leaving Yang behind. At that moment, Jean discovers the mermaid's secret and realizes she's not an ordinary girl. The next day at school, Jean tells my friends what she saw, claiming she's a monster with a big tail. No one believes her, but the fisherman overhears and takes her seriously. Later, Yang talks to the mermaid and admits, "I feel like I saw you when I was drowning in the sea, but I think it was just my imagination." He then invites her to a dance party at the end of the week. The mermaid is overjoyed and agrees. Back at home, she tells her friends about the invitation and asks them to help her choose a beautiful outfit. As the days go by, Yang and the mermaid grow closer, spending more time together. Meanwhile, Emmy and her friend are training to rejoin their handball team. Their coach warns, "This is your last chance." Uni feels nervous and unsure if she can finish the game. The mermaid gives Uni a special potion, telling her it will help her focus on her goals. Uni drinks it and feels a surge of energy. The match begins, and Emmy and her friend play well, but it's a tough game. Both teams are tied until the final minutes. Emmy passes the ball to her friend just before it hits the ground. With renewed focus, her friend scores the winning goal, securing victory for their team. Everyone, including the coach, is thrilled and decides to participate in every upcoming tournament. Back at home, Uni credits the mermaid for their win. However, Emmy reveals the potion she gave you was just vitamin water. She tricked you into believing in yourself. Later, the mermaid sits with her grandfather looking troubled. She confesses, "I've grown to love it here and want to stay with Emmy and her friends, but this isn't my world. One day I'll have to return to the sea." Just then, a young boy arrives with a note from Yang asking her to meet him at the pool. Overjoyed, the mermaid rushes to the pool only to find Jean waiting for her. Jean shoves her into the water, exposing her fish tail to everyone. Jean had intercepted and erased Yang's message, setting the mermaid up for humiliation. Yang arrives and sees the mermaid's secret, realizing she had been hiding the truth. Angry and hurt, he walks away despite her attempts to explain. Jean tries to take advantage of the situation, but Yang coldly tells her, "I never want to see you again." Meanwhile, Emmy and her friends notice the mermaid is missing and begin searching for her. They overhear Jean on the school microphone announcing, "There's a monster at the school. If anyone wants to see it, come to the pool." A crowd of students rushes to the pool, but Young arrives first, fearing for the mermaid's safety. When he gets there, he finds the pool empty and discovers Jin's friends tied up nearby. It's then revealed that the fisherman has kidnapped the mermaid and taken her to his laboratory. He reveals his sinister plan. When I was young, I saw a mermaid, but no one believed me. They called me crazy. Now I'll prove to the world that mermaids are real. Emmy and her friends realize what's happened and come up with a rescue plan. Uni disguises herself as a delivery person to distract the fisherman while Emmy sneaks into the lab to untie the mermaid. Unfortunately, the fisherman catches on to their plan and captures Uni, locking her in the lab. Uni tries to fight back, but is knocked unconscious. The fisherman turns to Emmy, ready to attack, but the mermaid bites his hand, stopping him in his tracks. At that moment, Uni appears behind the fisherman and hits him on the head, allowing them to escape the lab. Meanwhile, Young is at the party, searching for the mermaid everywhere, but he cannot find her. Jin seizes the opportunity and asks Young to dance, and he reluctantly agrees. Jin wins the evening's award, overjoyed by her success. Just then, the mermaid arrives at the party. She takes the stage saying, "I came to say goodbye to someone very special to me." She begins to sing. Her beautiful voice, captivating everyone. Young starts recalling all the wonderful moments they shared and realizes he loves her no matter what she is. Her friends, Emmy and Uni, are moved to tears. They deeply care for the mermaid and consider her a true friend. They don't want her to leave. When the mermaid finishes her heart-wrenching song, the audience is awestruck, applauding her incredible voice. Suddenly, the fisherman bursts in, holding a water gun disguised as a pistol. He shouts, "You can't hide what you are anymore." But just as he tries to confront her, the mermaid's grandfather appears and hits the fisherman on the head, incapacitating him. The mermaid thanks her grandfather for saving her. The mermaid turns to Young and bids him farewell. Realizing what she means to him, Young chases after her, determined to confess his feelings. My friends cheer for Young, clapping and encouraging him as he runs. Young catches up to the mermaid near the beach, where he takes her to the water. He tells her, "I love you for who you are no matter what." The mermaid is overwhelmed with joy and tells Young she feels the same way. However, Emmy and Uni are visibly upset, realizing the mermaid plans to return to her world. Emmy pleads, "Don't leave us. You're our friend. Promise you'll visit us often." In a bittersweet moment, the mermaid dives into the sea to return to her world. A large whale appears to carry her away, and she waves goodbye to her friends and Young. Young, Emmy, and Uni wave back, tears streaming down their faces. Emmy calls out, "I'll never forget you." The mermaid disappears beneath the waves, surrounded by the beauty of the ocean and its creatures, returning to her world. Here ends the drama. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and check out our other selection of recaps.